Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? Well, I'm really excited. RPG day is tomorrow. You ought to participate, and I'm gonna participate. Hashtag RPG a day. Be great. So I already made promo videos. I'm not gonna make another promo video. What is this video going to be about? This video is going to be talking about know thy friends. There's an old adage saying know thyself. Well, I think also know thy friends is pretty important. Maybe know thy enemies, but know thy friends. And I was really worried before I made this video. This is going to come across as condescending or sounding like an ivory tower or I know best or like I'm pigeonholing people and all that kind of good junk. And that's not my intent. There's no real malintent or negative intent in this video or this line of thought. Personally, in my own life, outside of gaming, I've found it very useful to take an inventory of myself every once in a while, hopefully more frequently than infrequently, and kind of figure out, what's my take on things, what are my motivations, what about me I'd like to change, all that kind of good junk, just kind of taking an inventory. And I've found that oftentimes, other people, my close friends can, or associates or people that I'm involved with can say, hey, have you considered this? I've noticed this about you. And sometimes my thinking is radically, challenged and I have this real paradigm shift. And sometimes, I examine like why I believe what I believe and realize that there's some more motivations than I thought. And this is getting really esoteric, isn't it? But let's talk about role-playing games. I've noticed I've had this big, I don't want to say paradigm shift, but I've thought a lot about my motivations and examined my preferences for role-playing games and all the nuances and all the different, I've talked a lot about this last year, right? All the different play styles and preferences and different spectra, different ideas, rules light, rules medium, rules heavy, narrative, gamists, simulationists, all this kind of good junk. We can go on and on with all that sort of stuff. The idea is that I've had my thinking challenged a little bit. I've discovered more things about myself. I've tried different ideas on for size, and I've come away with a lot more understanding. And part of that was adopting a language that I did not have before, and that enabled me to kind of understand things a little bit better. And some ideas fit, some ideas did not fit. So, anyhow, at this point, I found it helpful to kind of look at other people that I'm playing with, that I'm thinking about playing with, that I'm interacting with, that we talk about games. And after a while, if they don't necessarily kind of out themselves and say, hey, well, I'm like this, and not like we have to go introduce ourselves, like I'm a simulationist and I prefer rules medium to rules light, that's ridiculous. Unless we're doing like a session 0 and think about getting a game group together. But even then, I got to start with like, hi, my name's Ivan. I like role-playing games. Let's go on with that, from that. But a lot of times, I found that just like me, a year or 2 years ago, a lot of people lack the language to really express like what they like, why they like what they like. And I found also that many times I can find myself with people where we seem to start to like agree on some things. Maybe we both like things that are rules light, or maybe we both like something that provides a narrative structure. Or we want something that provides like a simulationist approach, or real world. Real consequences. Let's call it real world, real consequences, etc. All these different domains we can look into. And all of a sudden it becomes apparent that we might be on the same page, but we're reading different books. And our motivations for why we like what we like is different. Ergo, the experience we're really looking for, different. So anyhow, it really helps, or I found that it starts to help me a little bit. Or I've started to find helps me. I think that's the way you're supposed to say it. That it's really helpful for me to kind of suss out other people, and not in like a real malicious way or underhanded or whatever, but just sort of start to tease things apart, start to figure them out, start to know my friends, and understanding what makes them tick, and what their motivations might be, and not to pigeonhole them, but just kind of to figure out like our compatibilities or like what would be the best way for us to play together. What are they really looking for? It's not all that different. Then if you look at these really prescriptive game master videos or articles or whatever, and it's talking about kind of catering to your players and figuring out what this guy likes and what that guy likes. Does he need spotlight time? Does this guy need cinematic stuff? And this guy need a moment to have a soliloquy? It's a little bit like that. Not exactly. We're just kind of figuring out like what are the people that you're playing with, that you're talking about playing with? What do they really want? What are they really looking for in the game experience? And maybe we'll be compatible, maybe we won't. Maybe we can make some compromises. Maybe we're really different, even though we appear rather similar on the surface. I was talking to Anthony about this a little bit, and we were just talking about rules light. and preferences, various preferences for rules light. And I think he came with 3. I might have come up with 2 other ones, but they were kind of overlapped a little bit. And at some point I said, hey, that'd be a great video topic. I think you backed yourself into a corner. And he said, no, it'd be a better hangout. And so if there's one thing that I'm good at, it's really bad timing. Because I know, like right now, he is stupid busy with RPG a day, and I know he's editing some stuff. He might be writing some other game-related stuff, or a section for a game-related thing. He's got, it's got his jobs, dogs, all this kind of stuff, real life, And I've got some stuff going on too. But hopefully, we get a chance to do that. I can kind of goad him into that because it's a real great topic, I think. But anyhow, it's kind of a long-winded, hopefully short video, even though it's long-winded and a little circuitous. But I found that it's really, really helpful to not only know myself, but to kind of suss out my friends, time to learn to know my friends and, figure out what makes them tick, even if we're not able to communicate all the time, in the same language, so to speak, about it. So how do you feel about all that? Is sussing other people out, is that's a skill? Is that something you intentionally do, unintentionally do? I think it's kind of more unintentional for me. I just kind of notice things for people. I'd like to hear your perspective on that. Or am I crazy and just condescending and living in an ivory tower? What do you think?